And we're back. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, just give me a little bit more applause here while I get the microphone working. Just a little bit more, please. Thank you very much. Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, once again with my daily live fake talk show, the 420 Report. Wherever you're watching from, leave a comment below, and I will let you know when the JerDog Comedy Roadshow is coming to your area soon. Traveling all over the country, man, nationwide, baby, this Thursday night. A very rare Thursday. Usually I just do shows on Fridays and Saturdays, but this Thursday night, I'm bringing the JerDog Comedy Roadshow to my home state, the great state of Iowa, Dubuque, Iowa, this Thursday at Seven Hills Brewing Company. All right, Thursday night. And then Friday night, I'm going to be back here at home. Prime Real Estate to take Mrs. JerDog, a.k.a. Hot Karen, out on a date. So, and then Saturday, hop back in the car, drive 5.5 hours to Decatur, Illinois for a show at the Decatur Conference Center and Hotel. And once again, if you are in the Illinois area, share this around. Let people know that JerDog is coming to town, or wherever you're watching from, let me know in the comments below, and I'll let you know when I'm bringing the show to your area. But Illinois friends, fans, followers, this Saturday night, make your way to the Decatur Conference Center and Hotel. Tickets are going fast. I'll put the link and the event description here somewhere in the comments or the video description when I wrap up here. Hey, shout out to Brenda. What's up, Brenda? I'm heading to Cedar Rapids, Nebraska. I didn't even know there was a Cedar Rapids, Nebraska. My wife is originally from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, but I'm going to Cedar Rapids, Nebraska next Friday night, August 30th, for a show at the Country Inn Bar and Grill. And then next Saturday night, Lincoln, Nebraska, for my first time ever at Lucky's Lounge and Grill. So yeah, baby, that's right. Yes. Oh yes. Hey Gary, what's up? Maureen checking in from California. Fred Poole, how you doing? Alan, Ricky Rowe,
Circus, Afro circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
Hell yeah, baby. All right. So last Saturday night, I also want to give some shout outs. To some of my new friends out there in Michigan. Friday night, I stopped in at the grand opening. There's the grand opening celebration at the Pines House Kitchen and Bar in Dryden, Michigan. Fun show that was. Okay, so a couple of myths that I'm going to be busting in comedy right here, right now. Just stick around with me for a couple of minutes. I think you'll find this very interesting. So shout out to Tisha and everybody there at Pines House Restaurant or Kitchen and Bar. What the hell was that? All right, that was a lot of fun. Excellent. And we only had like 11 people though. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. That's like essentially like a disaster, like a failure of an event. And most comedians will get freaked out about a small crowd, but I actually think a lot of times the audience is more freaked out than the comedian can be, especially me. You know, of course, we all want as big a crowd as possible, as many people as there as possible. And as performers, we do feed off of the energy of the audience. But it's not impossible to get 11 people going. You know, when it's a small crowd like that, a lot of times the people in the crowd, the people in the audience are more intimidated and they're a little bit more worried. They're feeling more awkward about the size of the audience than the performer is. And I made this point. I was talking to a few friends of mine a while back. I made this point that it doesn't matter the size of the crowd. It's always a one-on-one experience. When you come out to my shows, like I might be talking to 100 people, 200 people, however many there are in attendance that night. But really, it's still a one-to-one performance. You know, I'm trying to communicate and resonate with individuals, not with a crowd, because the crowd is just made up of unique individuals. And my comedy is not for everybody, and everybody is not for my comedy. That's okay. You don't have to like every fucking word I say. You know what I'm getting? You know what I'm getting at? You really don't. You know, I get on stage, I'm a big gun. It doesn't matter the size of the crowd. It really doesn't. You work it like a rock star, one-to-one. Make eye contact. When you make an eye contact with someone, even if it's just for that second or two, all right, that's enough of the big gun. Even if it's just for that second or two, that you're making eye contact with an individual. You're speaking directly with a unique person that has their own unique experiences, their own unique reference points, and you have to relate to them as an individual. That's why they laugh. Now, at the same time, the more people that are there, the better it is for everybody. Laughter is contagious, and I've had some debates about that with a few people, but that's for another story. But if you've got the big crowd, you get a lot of energy, and that definitely fires you up, and you can extract, as an audience, if you're giving that performer a lot of energy, you can extract a better performance out of them. But if you're truly a funny and interesting and fun person to hang out with, if you just hang out with one person, you can make them laugh. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing a one-to-one performance, even though there might be a lot of people in the crowd. Maybe there's only 10 or 11 people in the crowd, like there were like last Friday night at the Dryden Pines House Kitchen and Bar. But those 11 people were there for a good time. I would be doing less. It would be a disappointing performance. I'd be giving less than my a full set. It would be like I can't give less. You got to give 100%. You know what I'm saying? Even though there's 11 people in the crowd, you don't dial it back. You still give 100%. If you're driving along in a car with somebody, you got 2 or 3 people in the car. It's just you and your passenger, for instance. You can still make each other laugh. Like if you're just having conversation with someone one-on-one, you can still make them laugh. It's not like a comedian can't make an individual laugh. So that's the way I look at it. Whether there's 11 people in the audience or 1,100 people in the audience, I'm still going to give it my all. You are not going to get less of a performance out of me. And in fact, a lot of times the small crowds, only 11 people, those can actually be some of the best performances that you get from a comedian, because it'll be a completely different, unique experience. I can actually go and take the time to right there live during the show, meet each and every one of them one-on-one, get their names, do a little bit more customizing of the material, do a lot more spontaneous improvisational comedy, because I can base it more off of that small group of people that are all into the show. That can be a challenge sometimes if the audience is huge, because the people all the way in the back, they don't give a fuck about the people that are in the front row. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm just interacting with the people in the front row, you lose the people way in the back. But when you have the small crowd, everybody's pretty much the front row, and they're all into it. And then you start working off the top of your head, and then that just creates more material for future shows. So busting myth number 1 of comedy is that we need a huge crowd in order for the show to go well. Well, of course, the show would be more successful overall financially when there's a giant crowd there and everybody's bought tickets and they're buying food and drinks. But it's not like the show itself ain't going to be fun just because there's 11 people there, man. Some of the best places I've ever performed at are places that hold small crowds because it's intimate. All right, so myth number 2. So once again, shout out to all the fine folks at the Dryden House Kitchen, the Pine House Kitchen and Bar in Dryden, Michigan. I love going up there. Thank you guys. Y'all did a great job, and I really, really mean it.
Aww.
Thank you. Thank you, live studio audience. And then Saturday night, I drove up to another one of my favorite bars to go to. I've been there before. Always off the hook, and that is Joe's Bar. Shout out to Denise and everybody up there at Joe's Bar in Alpena, Michigan. Now, that was a fun, exciting, packed house and a lot of fun. And it was, very much a contrast to the night before, which just shows you how versatile, just shows you how fucking good I am. You know what I'm saying? And so I stick around for the after party, and somebody comes up to me like, dude, you know what I really liked about your show is how you just went off the top of your head. You worked the crowd. You rolled with the punches. People are trying to heckle you, and you just turned that into material. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. That to me is the most fun part about it. That to me is what's exciting. You know what I mean? Like, you get a heckler in the crowd. A lot of comedians like, security, we got to kick this guy out. I'm like, no, come on, man. Bring it on. Round number 1. Bring it on, baby. And then we just start going. And sometimes that can go south real quick, especially if you don't have good crowd control skills to begin with. But that's also all part of the learning experience. That's also part of the adventure. So I'm hanging out with this dude afterwards, and and we're cracking jokes, and everybody's having a good time, and we're having drinks. It's a party. It's after party. Already done the show. People have already got their money's worth. Fucking after party. Hey, Bob, what's up, man? Thanks for taking my call yesterday, by the way. Actually, I think I got that shit resolved. It just took one quick phone. Well, we'll talk about it later. I don't want to get into business shit right here. So afterwards, I'm hanging out with this guy, and he asked me a question, and I made the mistake of giving him a sincere answer. And then he's like, oh, you're not being funny anymore. And I'm like, dude, you know what? Like, I thought you were asking me a legitimate question, and I just wanted to give you a legitimate, sincere answer. And if you just let me flap my trap a little bit, I probably will come around to saying something witty, clever, funny, humorous again. But it can't always just be glib, insincere, smart-assy responses just because I'm a comedian. And that is a myth out there that I'm going to bust right here, right now. And of course, if you are a regular viewer of my daily live fake talk show, the 420 Report, you know that it's not just like this video. It's not just non-stop cracking jokes. Everything is fucking funny all the time. It's like, people expect that kind of stuff. Oh, you're not being funny anymore. I thought you were a comedian, and you're not being funny anymore. What the hell's going on, man? I don't want to hang out with you if you're not going to be cracking a joke every single second of every single night that we're hanging out. I'm like, you know what?
Uh-oh, retard alert.
That's exactly what I think.
Retard alert, class.
If that's what you're expecting hanging out with Jer-dog, I'm sorry. It's going to be a little bit disappointing. If you only are smart ass all the time, you're going to get yourself in trouble. It's like this, it's like being social alerted. Who the hell really wants to hang out with someone who's only going to give insincere, glib, smart assy answers all the time? You can't even really trust a person like that. You know what I mean? If that were the case, I'd probably be fucking in prison or in jail right now. At some point, like if I get pulled over by the cops and they're like, let me see your driver's license. A lot of comedians, they do these bits about how they were a smart ass to the cops. And, a little insider information. that shit is an exaggeration. A lot of times when we're talking about, oh yeah, the cop said this and I said that, it's like that's what we imagined we would say if we lived in our own fucking fantasy world where we ruled the universe. We'd be able to smart off to the cops like that. In fact, I know I would be in prison. Here's how I know. I used to do this character called Jailhouse Jake, and Jailhouse Jake was, I would put on a full blonde mullet wig. I'd put on the Blues Brothers sunglasses. I had the full orange jumpsuit like what you might find at the county jail. It said state prison on the back that my wife had used iron-on letters to help me create this character. And I used to go up there, instead of doing the JerDog act, I would go up there and I would do this character who had just escaped or was just released from prison and was making an attempt at doing stand-up comedy. It was part of his rehabilitation that he would pursue his new passion of stand-up comedy. And the jokes were real fucking tasteless, real off-color, downright rude. I've actually got a video on YouTube, Jailhouse Jake, and I'll put that link in the comments below as soon as I wrap up. So one time I would do this character at, I'd roll into a karaoke bar. And it would be Jailhouse Jake singing karaoke. Sometimes people took the act a little too seriously, and they were under the impression that this was a legit escaped fucking con, and they would call the cops. Like, no shit. I would get the cops called on me, probably like I had to quit doing the character because half the time I would roll in to an establishment dressed in full prisoner regalia, someone would fucking call the cops. So I'm in this Ramada Inn, staying there for the week, doing shows in Louisville, Kentucky at the Ramada Inn, and they had a lounge down in the first floor of the hotel. And every night they were doing karaoke. So one night I had a few drinks. I decided to go do Jailhouse Jake singing karaoke, who knows what the hell. And while I'm waiting for them to call my name, like I entered on the little entry slip to do a karaoke song, I wrote on there, Jailhouse Jake. And while I'm waiting for them to announce Jailhouse Jake to get up there and sing, I shot the sheriff or some shit. Two cops suddenly appear behind me while I'm sitting at the bar. And they're like, come with us, sir. You need to come with us, sir. What the hell's going on? And I tried to keep up the character as much as I possibly could. But if I had kept it up full tilt, like an Andy Kaufman bit where you never drop the character, they probably would have fucking thrown me in jail. At some point, I had to listen, man, I'm just doing a joke. This is a wig. This is a costume. This is a character I'm doing. I'm just trying to fucking make people laugh. And if I'd kept up with the jokes, they wouldn't have tolerated that. I probably actually would have been arrested and actually wound up in jail, and it would have been a self-fulfilling prophecy. I do remember at one point I got pissed, I pissed them off when they're like, we need to see your ID. I'm like, well, it's up in my room. You're going to have to come with me. And they're like, we'll tell you what to do. You don't tell us what to do. And I'm like, seriously, officer, my ID is up in my room. Just come up with me up there. I'll give you my ID, et cetera, et cetera. I'd have some of my friends that were there come over and vouch for me. And as we're walking up to the room, they see on the back, one of them makes the comment. He goes, it's like, you need to be careful when you're doing pranks like this. I was like, yeah, that's all it is, just a prank. He's like, those look exactly like our county jail uniforms. I'm like, your county jail uniforms have iron-on letters that say state prison? Oh, that was enough right then and there for them to want to search the entire room and find any little piece of evidence that they might come up with in order to bust me. And that's where I learned my lesson. You can't fucking always go for the joke. Sometimes the best comedy, sometimes the best jokes come from real life at the time. It doesn't seem so funny experiences. Sometimes the best humor results in just having a regular old conversation. Yeah, keeping it lighthearted. Sometimes it gets a little bit more dramatic and crazy, but that usually makes for some of the best stories later on. That usually what makes for some of the best comedy. It's like when you're not going for the joke, when you're just being real, raw, honest, and in the moment. And that calls for sincerity sometimes. If it's just always comedy, it gets kind of fucking annoying. So sorry if I'm breaking your hearts. Sorry if I'm busting the myths that you think a comedian should just always be funny 100% all the time. Ain't gonna happen. Now, I do feel like as performers, we have the obligation to be as interesting as possible, as much as possible. But that's for another video on another day. Hey, let's go into some comments. You know, if you do expect me to always have to be funny, this is just what I'm going to think.
I heard it's retarded or something.
Yeah, exactly. Bob LaFada, it's all fun and games till someone loses an eye. Yeah, and then it's hilarious. Billy Buchanan, dude, what do they expect? A court jester? Jester make the king laugh. SMH, people are retarded. Hell yeah, buddy.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Mark Floyd, and that's exactly it. They want you just to be the court jester all the time. Well, you know what happened to the court jester? He was usually the first motherfucker that got beheaded if he did the wrong thing. You still, and especially in this day and age, what's the version of getting beheaded in this day and age? The PC fucking police coming after you, not the legitimate police that came after me when I was in Louisville, Kentucky, doing Jailhouse Jake at the karaoke night. It's the politically correct police fucking coming at you because you're putting things like this in your live video.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Some people don't like everything you do or say. I'm not for everybody. Everybody's not for me. That's fine. I'm also not the kind of guy that's going to get on here. If you don't like it, you can unfriend me. I think friends can have disagreements. And, you can talk from the heart and still be funny. Mark Floyd, I guess some guy thought Andy Dick wasn't being funny enough for him. LOL. Okay. I'll have to look into that. Probably a PC issue. Probably offended somebody and they got complained on. And that's another thing, man. I will never, ever, 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 and you have my promise on this, I will never, ever, ever give in to the complainers. Not once. In fact, if you start complaining at my shows, I'm probably going to crank up whatever the complaint was about. I'm probably going to crank that up to 10. Probably going to take it up to an 11. All right, guys, that's it. Do I see any more comments on here? Thanks, everybody. There's a few more. I'll have to come back and answer them. Oops, did I say retarded? Good, I meant it. It's all fun and games till Kentucky law enforcement shows up. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Also, come back later. Check out the video. You don't have to watch it all the way through, but come back and check out in the comments. I will not only put the links to my upcoming shows, but I'm also going to put the link to my YouTube video where I do my character Jailhouse Jake.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you very much, everybody, especially all the tardish people out there.
Timber!
And I'll be back tomorrow with another live fake talk show, the 420 Report, at 4:20 Eastern Daylight Time, or as close as possible. Hit the share button. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll let you know when I'll be performing live in your area soon. And until tomorrow, dog bless America. Thank you very much, Bob, for the claps. Thank you for the applause. Let me hear you live, fake studio audience. Where are you? Let me hear you. Let me hear you. Where is my applause from the live fake studio audience? Come on now. It ain't happening. Whatever. Time to get out of here.
Autobots, roll out.
That's it for today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. 4:20 p.m. or as close as possible.